Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 298, and I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, across most of social media. Today is Thursday, November 15th, and we are back here at my dining room table. I recorded here last week because it was super rainy out and it was very gray, and as it turned out when I was processing it, the video last week, I realized this actually wasn't too bad of a spot. I was afraid the lighting wouldn't be very good here, but it's actually not bad. And I think the sound was actually pretty decent last week too. So if you have any feedback about this location versus out in the porch room, please let me know. The one thing I do like about being here is I can be much closer to the camera than I can be out there. So anyway, yeah, I'm giving this a try again. I think it works. Plus I have more table space that I can put everything on. Anyway, hi and welcome. Because life is not nearly as insane this week as it was last week, I will plan to get show notes up in the episode thread, which is now being located in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry. As well as our current knit-along thread is also there, and any new threads will be starting for the podcast. They'll be starting in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. The 90% Knitting group, as I've said, is still on Ravelry, and any current threads that are still being active there, like the color work thread, those are still there. Please feel free to continue to post in them. I'm just not going to be adding anything new to that thread until we get completely transitioned over to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group, and then it'll probably just sit there and languish. The 90% Knitting group will. So anyway, if you're new to the podcast, thanks so much for checking me out. And if you are back again, thank you so much for coming back. I have a good bit of stuff to talk about this week. I'm going to try to keep it moving. I will say Indie Knit and Spin was last weekend on Sunday, and thank you so much to everybody who came by the booth and said hello. It's always lovely to meet customers and podcast viewers in person. And also, if you came by and you donated to the Tree of Life fundraiser that I was doing in conjunction with Sarah Jordan and her pattern, her To Life pattern, thank you so much. We raised $110 for that. And you know what, that doesn't sound like very much, but I only had 50 minis and we were asking a minimum donation of $1. So that tells you how much, the fact that a lot of people did donate more than just that $1. And actually there were some people who just came by and made a donation and didn't even want the yarn or the pattern. So that was really cool too. So thank you very much. That money is going to be donated all directly to Tree of Life. Yeah, so anyway, it is yet another gray day. I don't know how much, you probably can't see it out the window there, but it is, I'm not sure what it is actually doing right now. It's raining, it's been raining all morning, but it's freezing rain, and it's actually looking sort of snowish at this point, like snow mixed with rain. Yeah, I was outside, I had to bring some things in from my car earlier, and I was just slip sliding around on the driveway. That was not a lot of fun, but thankfully my driveway is not too far from my front door, so it wasn't too bad. But it's a wonderful day to just be inside. Thankfully, I don't have anywhere I need to go today. And it's also the perfect day to have a fire in the fireplace. So I put in our inaugural fire in the fireplace this morning, which I filmed a little clip of it. I don't know why, because that doesn't seem overly interesting, but I'll pop it in here. First fire of the season. No explosions. Yay me. Yeah, so you might remember my stories from last year about our crazy heating system here in the house. I mean, maybe it's not that crazy, but we have hot water heat. Our furnace is, an oil furnace that does hot water heat, baseboard heat. But our fireplace has a water jacket that is tied into the heating system. So when we have a fire, it can heat water through there that then gets pumped through the whole house. The only thing is, which is very nice, and it helps heat the house without using the oil. The thing is, there's a succession of valves that have to be turned either open or closed depending on whether the fire is running or not running. And then there's also the pump that you have to turn on to circulate the water. I had a very hard time with this last year. Last year was my first year of being in this house where I was actually burning a fire regularly. And I caused a few explosions. I mean, not like the house didn't explode, but the system has blow-off valves that will release if too much steam builds up because you have not turned all of the valves in the correct way. Yeah, it makes a giant mess, and it freaks me out. Although by the end, I was like starting to figure out, oh, I must have done something wrong, and I knew exactly what to do. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, my husband and I were downstairs, and I said, hey, can you take a minute and just come over here where all these valves are in the pipes? I said, just review with me where these valves need to be for me to burn a fire. I said, I think I remember, but I just want to make sure that I can do it correctly. So he looked at them all, and they actually all had not been reversed from where they were the last time we had a fire last year. He said, so everything's set up. You just have to remember to turn the pump on. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I was still really nervous this morning putting this fire in. I like double checked all the valves. I turned the pump on and I put the fire in, and I just built a small fire at first just to make sure. And then there's like, you can't see it over here, but there's a pipe that comes out of the side of the fireplace on this side that has a little valve you can open to release steam if there is steam built up, but if you open it and water comes out, then you know it's okay. So I checked that a couple times, and I ran downstairs a few times to check the pressure gauges and make sure nothing was building up. I mean, this fire's been in for hours now, so if it was going to explode, it would have done it like ages ago. But I'm just super paranoid. But I'm feeling confident that I've done it well. And it's nice because I'm doing most of my work today from here in the dining room, so I can see the fire right there, and it's lovely. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought I would share my little warm, cozy, bad weather moment with you. I'm drinking tea today, and I'm being super fancy schmancy and drinking it out of this little teacup that I will talk about a little bit later, why I'm drinking it out of this teacup. This was actually my great-grandmother's tea service, or china, but this is the pattern, and it is Noritake china. Anyway, I don't know why you needed to know that either, but anyway. What shall we do next? How about actual knitting? Let's get to that, because we're 6 minutes in and I've been babbling. I have a finished object to show you this week that wasn't even cast on last time I recorded, because I didn't even own the yarn last time I recorded. So let's go with this, and I'm going to put it on. Well, here, I'll show it to you first. Isn't it cute? I love the fluffy pom-pom. This is, let me see, where's the cable panel? It's over there. All right. There we go. All right. So, oh, I have the cable panel way in the back. That's not right. Let's try this again. There we go. That's better. All right, so let me talk about the yarn first. The yarn is from Wren House Yarns. Lee was vending at Indie Knit and Spin last Sunday, and I see her a bunch of shows, and I always talk to her, and she's super sweet. But I've never gotten any of her yarn, and so I was looking, and this one just jumped out at me. I don't know if you can see the colors. I only had a little bit of yarn left, so, and I don't have it with me. But it's just such a soft, speckled color. These are, you know, my color sense is bright, bright, bright colors most of the time. I would say 80% of the time when I'm dyeing. I have some softer colorways, but like these soft speckles are so different than what I tend to buy, or to dye, sorry. But it was so pretty, and I just had to have it. So it's called Delilah, and it's on her Chickadee DK base, Chickadee-K. Isn't that cute? It's a DK weight yarn. And this was the Delilah colorway. So I'm calling it my Delilah hat. I did actually use a pattern sort of as a guide. My show notes are over here, which is why I'm looking over here. It's called the Latu pattern, L-A-T-U, by Mayu K-P. I don't know. Basically, I followed that pattern for most of this cable panel. I kind of did my own thing. because I started out, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I might just do a plain stockinette hat and just let the speckles play and be the main thing in the hat. So I cast on, I think I cast on 100 stitches, which is actually more than I would ordinarily cast on for a DK weight hat, but I was doing the ribbing on US 4s, which was also significantly smaller than the Latu pattern suggested. But I cast it on and started doing the ribbing. It's just 1 by 1 rib. And as I got up to the body of the hat, I thought, well, I think I want to do something, but I don't want it to be an all over pattern. So that was when I decided I would try following the Latu pattern, which I do think, I don't remember now, I'm sorry, because I looked at a couple of different patterns. Latu was one of them, and there was another pattern I was sort of considering maybe using. But anyway, I ended up just basically going off the pattern altogether, because from the 100 stitches, I not only increased to a US 5 needle, but I also cast on an additional 20 stitches. So I was working on 120 stitches because I wanted it to be a little bit slouchy. So, and I tend to do that when I'm making hats for myself, because I do like them to be a little slouchier. Not like super slouchy, but I just don't want it to like totally smash my hair. And can I just say, my hair is really long right now. Like for me, this is long. Like for my hair to be down around my neck like this, it feels so different. Because last winter my hair was not this long. It hasn't been this long in a long time. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I'm going to take it off now. But it's nice because it's, well, okay, maybe I spoke too soon. It doesn't completely destroy my hair, just a little bit. All right, I'll quit playing with my hair. But anyway, I followed the Latu pattern just for the cable panel. And I basically knit in 40 stitches into the round, and then I did the cable panel. It's a very simple cable panel. And then once I got up here and I started doing decreases, I actually modified the cable panel, because I don't believe the Latu pattern had you doing any decreases within the cable panel, and I wanted to do some decreases. So I don't know if you can see it with the pom-pom on, but basically right here I started decreasing in the purl stitches, and then up into here I started decreasing in the actual cable, and then up here I brought it together with a double vertical decrease. That's not the right term, but anyway. Yeah, so it comes up to a point. You can't really see that much because of the pom-pom. And this is a fluffy pom-pom that I've had for quite a while. I actually had a bunch of them. I got them at TNNA a couple years ago. The pack, I don't know much about them. The packaging says raccoon from Turkey. I don't know, but I'm honestly not sure if it's actual raccoon or fake raccoon. I asked my husband if he could tell, and he said he's pretty sure it's probably faux raccoon, but he can't tell either without a more powerful magnifying device. I don't know. He knows this stuff. Anyway, I guess he was looking maybe for scales on the hair or something. Whatever. I just like it, and I think it looks really cute on the hat. So anyway, is there anything else I want to tell you about this? Probably not. I did put fairly detailed notes in my project page. But it's just fun to have this hat. I didn't block it at all, because once it's on, the cable pattern opens up, and it's not like I need to have it really opened up when I'm not wearing it. Yeah, so it was a fun project. I did it in a couple of days. I think that's the fastest in recent history that I've ever knit up new yarn. So got the yarn and literally cast it on the day after I bought it. So that was fun. But anyway, I have a new hat, and I wore it out yesterday, and that was a lot of fun too, having a new hat to wear. So that is, yeah, I think that's everything I have to tell you about that hat. Otherwise, I did work on a couple of other projects this week that I will go ahead and show you. The first one, I need to back up a little bit, is my arboreal pullover, which I've had to transfer into a different bag. And it is in this bag, which is a waxed canvas tote bag that I recently got from Tanny Casey on Etsy. Funny story about me finding out about Tanny Casey and her bags. She actually is located over on the eastern side of Pennsylvania. I'm in the west, okay, southwest. I did not know about her until I learned about her through Caroline, who has the Dunder Knit podcast. She's located over in England. So it took somebody from another country to direct me to Tanny Casey, who lives in the same state I do. I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, she makes a lot of bags, but she has these waxed canvas bags that sell out super quickly in her shop for the most part. And so I did manage to snag this one when she put a bunch up after she had done a show. And so I grabbed this one. I just love this red. Isn't this an awesome red? And it's got leather handles, and it's got pocketses on the inside, which I don't know how much you can see in there. You can see the pockets, and like a little magnet closure. But yeah, my sweater's really starting to outgrow the other bag that it was in, so I put it in here. Plus I still have 3 more full skeins of yarn in the bottom of the bag. I don't think I'm going to need all 3 of those to finish this, but at least they're in there. So let me show you where I'm at. Let me figure it out here. Okay, so this is the bottom. Trying not to lose stitches. So I don't remember where it was the last time you saw it. I know this is where I was when I picked it up last. I was knitting down here, so I was probably in here the last time I showed it to you a week or 2 ago. But I am now down on the bottom ribbing. Yeah, at one point, probably shortly after I showed it to you last time, I put it on a second needle so that I could try it on, and I realized I was pretty much right where I needed to be to start the ribbing. So I have, I don't know, a little over 1 inch of ribbing knit. I'm going to do 2 inches, so I'm really only a few rounds from binding off the bottom. I actually thought I could get it finished this morning and show it to you, but I couldn't. I didn't have enough time. So hopefully one more knitting session on this and I will have the body completed. My plan at that point is I believe I'm going to go ahead and block this. When I tried it on, it definitely fit. It's almost a little too roomy. And that's not a surprise because, well, I have not checked gauge lately to see if I'm getting gauge, which is neither here nor there because I'm not ripping anything out. I always just tend to make sweaters larger than I need to. I don't know what it is. I think I picked the wrong size, even though I know what my measurements are and I know what the measurements of the garment are. I just have this thing about thinking I'm larger than I am. Yeah, it felt a little roomy to me. Now, granted, it was still being knit and like nothing's blocked, and the color work was very puckery as I had it on. So I'm a little concerned about that, but I just want to block it before I do the sleeves just to get a sense of where I'm at with this. So once I finish the body, I'm going to go ahead and block all of this, I think, and then I will knit the sleeves accordingly. I've pretty much gone off pattern. This is a Jennifer Steingass pattern, and once I got through the color work and down into the body, because I can't remember if there was some shaping or not. I don't remember. I started this so long ago. But basically, for the rest of the body, I've just been winging it and doing my own thing. It's funny. I'm doing 2x2 ribbing at the bottom, whereas the neckline was 1x1 ribbing. I just didn't even pay attention, and I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'll probably do 2x2 ribbing on the cuffs as well. Yeah, and I'm just going to pick up, and I'll, probably refer back to the pattern to see how many stitches I'm supposed to pick up there at the bottom of the armpit, and then decrease. I'll have to look back at projects to see if this tends to run big in the sleeves or not, because I don't like my sleeves to be overly large, so I may need to do my decreases a little quicker, but we'll see. At any rate, I'm happy that this is so much closer to being done, because I really would like to wear this winter. So fingers crossed I can get this finished. I'm already starting to think about what other sweaters I want to work on, and none of the ones that I already have on the needles are the ones that I feel like I want to work on, of course. I want to cast other ones on. But anyway, I'm making that out of Cascade 220 Heathers. The blue is Mallard, and the stone kind of color is called Aspen. And all of the details like that are on the Ravelry page. my project page. So, okay, so that I worked on, and then the only other thing I really put, I'm actually not even sure I can say I put a ton of time into it, is the second sock I'm making for my younger son for Christmas. This is West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in the owl colorway. I'm doing the blueberry waffles pattern, and I'm still on the gusset decreases, which is where I think I was probably the last time I showed it to you. But I thought since I had it sitting here on the dining room table, because I've been working on it like after breakfast and after dinner the last couple of days, minimally anyway, I thought I would show it to you. So yeah, it's still coming along. US 1 needles, 72 stitches. Not much else to say about that either. I have about 3 other socks on the needle. Well, I have a lot more than that, but I have 3 other socks that I've actually probably put a little bit of work into, but like minimally, like a few rounds. They wouldn't look any different to you, so I didn't bother to drag them out. I honestly didn't really have that much time to knit at Indie Knit and Spin on Sunday, which is a good thing, because if you have a show where you don't really have time to sit and knit, that means it's a pretty busy show. So yeah, I had a little bit of time later in the afternoon, and I put maybe an inch or so on my second dark and stormy sock, but that was about it, and I didn't even bring that in to show you. Sorry. Okay, that's all the knitting I've got for you this week. I have been spinning though. It's been actually pretty awesome, because once Monday got here and, you know, my super busy week of last week was over and I had a chance that I could finally start to relax a little bit, all I wanted to do was spin. Yeah, I finished the second bobbin of my combo spin. So here's the first bobbin and here's the second. I didn't put quite as much on the second bobbin as the first, but I had to stop because it had started to wind itself down around here, which is never a good thing. So I quit, and you know, it doesn't really matter because I've got so much fiber. I mean, you guys probably saw that, and if you didn't, go back, I don't know, a handful of episodes, I think back into late summer when I did my combo spin fiber segment. Anyway, there's a lot of fiber. I'm going to be filling a lot of bobbins. My plan is to do a 3-ply, a traditional 3-ply. So I now have the third bobbin on my wheel. My wheels are out there on the porch room, which is why or in the porch room. That's why I was looking that way. Anyway, once I get 3 bobbins filled, I may go ahead and ply on my bulky plier, my bulky flyer or jumbo flyer. I don't actually know which one it's called. On my sidekick. I am spinning this on my sidekick. It's not my favorite wheel out of my 2 to spin on, but I'm okay. It's fine. It's been working fine for me. But I do have several of these bobbins for it, so it's making it easy to do. And I could probably do, I think I have 6 bobbins, so I could probably do 6 bobbins of singles and then just randomly pair them up in sets of 3 to do the plying. I may do that. We'll see if I'm patient enough or not, because I'm really anxious to see what this is going to look like plied up, but we'll see. So I've got the third bobbin working, and then I can continue, or I can go ahead and ply. But what I was going to say is it doesn't really matter that one has more than another bobbin, because if I have some left over on a bobbin, I'll just, you know, use that bobbin as I start to spin more, and, you know, pick up from there, and I can add to it. So it's not like the singles is going to be wasted, or, you know, you have to do something weird with it the way you would if it's just your only bobbin of fiber and you're not spinning such a large quantity. Anyway, so that's my combo spin, which I am still greatly enjoying. I just love seeing all those different colors wind onto the bobbin. The other spinning I did is on my other wheel, which is my Ashford Traveler, which is my favorite wheel to spin on. I love that wheel. It's old. It was secondhand when I got it, but I love it. It's my most comfortable wheel to spin on. And that was the one that I was spinning my BFL Gotland fleece on over the summer. And then I kind of got away from that, and then I started doing the combo spin. But I got back to my fleece this week. I had to, that's the hard part about that. It's not like I can just sit down and do it. Like I can only do it as long as I have fiber prepped. So I spun through, there had been a little bit in my basket. And so then I had to prep more. So I spun what was in the basket, and then I came out here and I set up my hackle, and I'm using my hackle and one of my hand combs to process that fleece. I impaled myself a few times. I'm horrible with that hackle. It is so sharp, and I try to be careful. I honestly think I should probably start to wear like protective goggles, because I'm so afraid I'm going to just absentmindedly bend over and poke my eyeball out or something. I know that's gross, but it is just such a dangerous tool, literally. And I mean, I cannot ever walk away from it because I'd be so afraid a cat would jump up on the table and hurt themselves. But anyway, I sit here long enough to do like one full basket of fiber, because I'm dividing it up into the 3 colors, light, dark, and light, medium, and dark, that are found in this fleece. It's such a pretty fleece. And so it just takes a little while, and I'm sure I'm not doing the combing like efficiently. I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to. I've never done it before, but it's fine. It's working. I guess that's the key thing. It's working, and I'm getting a nice yarn from it. I'll insert a picture here of the yarn on my bobbin right now. So isn't it pretty? Oh my goodness, I just love it so much. I don't know what it's going to be, and I also don't know how. I think I may end up Tippy. She's curious over there. We have a friend on the counter, which I'll talk about a little later. I have to watch her though. Anyway, what's I saying? Oh, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use that yarn for. I mean, I want it to be a sweater quantity, which I'm sure it will be. It may end up being like an Andrea Mowry weekender sweater. I think that might be a good use for that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't usually spin with a specific project in mind. I mean, other than like a general category, like I want to make this into a sweater. So anyway, that has been my spinning this week. It's been wonderful and so much fun to get back to spinning and just relax, because spinning is definitely relaxing for me. I mean, knitting is too, but spinning, there's something about the rhythm of the wheel, and it's very meditative. Okay, so that is everything I have been working on with regard to spinning. And oh, the other thing I was going to tell you though about my Gotland, my BFL Gotland fleece. Okay, so like I said, I'm processing it with, I'm combing it. Basically, I'm using a hackle and a comb to process it, and you get a lot of waste when you comb. And for a while I thought maybe I must have been doing something wrong that I was getting so much waste, but then I looked into it and I heard, you know, other people talk about it, and it's just a byproduct of combing fleece. You get a lot of waste. So I had this whole other basket piled up with all this fluffy fleece waste, and it felt like a shame to really just pitch it, but I didn't know what else I was going to do it. I suppose I could have like felted it into something, I don't know, but instead I'm just going to use it as stuffing. So I have this hat. This is that fish hat. It's a nitty pattern. I don't remember what it's called. Like, oh, I think it goes this way actually. Yeah, there we go. Dead fish, or I don't know. I knit this ages ago out of my Here Fishy Fishy colorway. I used to take it to shows as a sample. I knit it way too large. Like, it's supposed to be a hat, like, so it looks like you have a hat, a fish on your head. But it's really big, and so I just never really, I never even put the eyes on it. But I decided to stuff it. So that's where all my fleece waste is. It's in the fishy. So he's going to just be a fishy pillow at some point. And as I continue my combing process, I will continue to stuff my fishy. And eventually I will put eyes on him. I think I'm just going to do them out of felt. And then I'll seam him shut and we'll have a fish pillow. My husband would love a fish pillow, so I may just give that to him at some point. But that was the other thing I was doing, just sort of a side project to my spinning. All right, let's talk about our knit-along, our November-December knit-along. That is the One for You, One for Me, KAL. It's not necessarily knitting. Whatever crafts you're doing to create gifts around the holidays, perfectly fine, like within reason. Like if you're doing woodworking or something, not so much. But if it's something related to the fiber arts, you know, knitting, crocheting, weaving, spinning, sewing's fine, stitching, embroidery, anything like that, feel free to put those projects in there. Those all count. I do have the thread up. There's the chatter thread, and I did start the finished object thread. Both of those are in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. So please head on over there, take part in that. I've gone through the guidelines the last couple of times I recorded, so I'm not going to talk about those again. I did update some of the guidelines last week to make things a little easier because I hadn't thought them completely through. So feel free to ask me any questions if you aren't 100% clear on things, but otherwise I would just direct you over to those threads, and I would just love it if you would take part in that with me. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's see, other than that, we're going to jump into new things because I do have some other new things to show you. I showed you the one Tanny Casey bag. Yeah, the one. Does that tell you where this is going? I showed you the one Tanny Casey bag that I have, that I ordered, and she shipped that out in very quickly, and obviously we live in the same state, so I got it pretty quick. And then within a week, she posted other bags to her shop, and I'm like, oh, and I literally, this was on Instagram, I'm like, you're killing me. They were drawstring bags, and not just like, ooh, don't fall. They're heavier duty drawstring bags. They kind of remind me of like the fringe bags, Fringe Fiber Company, whatever those fringe bags are. Sort of along the lines of those. But the fabric is what got me on this. And it was funny because when I was buying the tote bag, I had been looking at other bags. She had some drawstring bags up, and I was like, oh, I could get one that like coordinates with the tote bag. And then I thought, no, Lisa, you don't need to do that. But then she posted these, and I couldn't not get one. This is Rifle Paper Company fabric with a waxed canvas bottom. I don't remember what the name of the fabric was. It had a name. I don't know what it was. But I just call it beautiful because it's lovely. I love this fabric. I've never had anything made out of Rifle Paper Company fabric before. I've never purchased it to make anything, although at some point I probably will once I get back into my sewing groove. But it's just, it's lovely. I would like curtains made out of this. I'd like a skirt made out of this. Yeah, I want a whole lot of things. I just think it's so pretty. I love the botanical print, and the colors are lovely. She had this one, and then there was one with a darker background, but I like the lighter one. And then the inside, again, it's lined. It's got little pockets, and it's got these little grommets, so you could actually thread yarn up through there if you wanted. It's lovely. And then it's a drawstring. It's a very tight drawstring, and because the fabric is so dense, it's a heavier canvas, and the fabric inside is also heavy. So this does not close completely, but as you work it, you know, other bags like this are like that too. You know, the more you use it and the more you work it, the tighter it'll close. But I don't have a project in it yet, but I do have a project in mind that I'm going to be starting soon that I do believe will go in here because this will hold a lot. She said it'll hold a sweater project. Now, I think she says it'll hold a sweater project. I may be misspeaking. I don't know. You'd have to look at her website. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to hold enough of what I'm going to do anyway. I'm going to make a cowl, but it's a color work cowl, so there'll be multiple balls of yarn. Anyway, so yep, that is a new bag. I was so tempted to get a bag from Steel City Stitcher at Indie Knit and Spin, and I didn't, and now I'm regretting it. I hate when I do that because she had a couple of really cute tote bags. So I keep checking her Etsy shop to see if she's posted them yet, and she hasn't. Her Etsy shop's still like on hiatus, but I'm imagining she'll put stuff up soon. Anyway, so that was not Indie Knit and Spin. Indie Knit and Spin, I only bought 3 things. I bought the yarn that I already showed you, the hat that I've already knit from it. And I do have a little, I've got like maybe 30 some grams left, I think, of that yarn. So it might become something else. It's not enough to do mitts unless I used some like coordinating yarn with it, which I could. Like I could dye up something that would coordinate, or I probably have something in my stash. But for right now, I'm just really happy with the hat. Okay, so the other two items I bought at Indie Knit and Spin, I bought a button. Yes, a single button. But isn't it a beautiful wooden button? This is from the Wood Rasp shop, which I bought a shawl stick from him a couple of Indie Knit and Spins ago, which I showed you back when I got it. But anyway, he had these really big buttons. And this was actually one of the smaller big buttons. He had like one that was like this huge. It was so cool. His woodwork is lovely. It's so smooth and finished just beautifully. And these were all different, obviously, because they're made out of pieces of wood. And they're just lovely. And I like how there's 3 holes. You don't usually see that in a button. There's usually either 2 or 4. But I thought that was really cool. So I only got one because they were a little pricey for a button. But it's going to go on something special. I don't know what yet. But it's like a statement button. Like I could just see it like at the top of a sweater, or like to hold a KAL shut, or I don't know. I don't know what yet. But anyway, I just loved the button. Had to have the button, so I got the button. And then the other thing I got, there was a vendor there who I'd not seen there before, Tupelo Honey. No, Tupelo Honey Tea is what it was called. And she had all kinds of different hand-blended teas. And you could buy and she had like in packages, you could just buy a package of 1 tea. But then she also had these collections of tea. And so I bought one of the collections, and they're actually in these hand-folded origami boxes, which is also quite cool. So these were like autumn blends, and I've already finished off 1 package. This is actually, that's not what I'm drinking today. I'm drinking something else today. Just a tea bag kind of tea. Okay, no Tippy. Oh, here. We can have a Tippy cameo, because you haven't seen Tippy in a while. Look how big she's gotten. She's still a tiny kitty, but she's about 1.5 years old now, maybe. Not quite 1.5 years. She's also very, very wet right now because she was outside apparently. Yeah, you can get down, but you can't get up here on the stuff. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry for that too. I don't know. I didn't turn the sound off on my phone apparently. Anyway, yes. I'll just read you the names of the blends because they're pretty cool. There's a caffeine-free lemon mint, caffeine-free Turkish apple. Then there's an apple spice, pumpkin pie, witch's brew, which is like a chai, English breakfast. This one, which I started drinking yesterday, pumpkin pie rooibos. It comes in these little packages, and there's like about 2 to 3 servings worth in one of these little packages in the samplers. And Millvale breakfast. Millvale is actually where she's located, and it's a little town, or it's a neighborhood in Pittsburgh, Millvale. No, oh no. Tippy is interested in my pom-pom. Yeah, and there was one other one that was, I forget what it was. Cinnamon plum, which I drank. That was the very first one I drank. It was so good. So anyway, she is online. Again, it's Tupelo Honey Tea. Yeah, Tupelo Honey Tea. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. She said she's going to have like some Christmas and winter combinations or sets out. I was originally thinking that I might buy the David's tea sampler that my husband and I could do over like Advent. But I may just order one of these from her and we can do that instead. Even though I know it's not like an Advent calendar, I think that would be nice because then I'd also be supporting a local business. So, hi. It's been about an hour and a half since I was recording a moment ago to you. I had to stop because I needed to put Tippy in the bathroom because she was awake from her nap, her morning nap, and she was just causing mayhem. And so I popped her in the bathroom, and I sat down and I pushed the button to start recording again, and I went on and on and on, and then I had to pause for something else because I had to go get something. And when I hit the button, I realized that I just started the recording, which means when I hit it the first time, I had actually turned it off, which means when I put Tippy in the bathroom and I thought I'd turned it off, I hadn't actually turned it off. So I had recorded a whole bunch of stuff in my mind that didn't actually get recorded. So, and by then my phone was almost dead. So I had to plug it in. And then of course I had like 3 other things come up that I had to deal with right away. And so here we are, an hour and a half later, and I'm still not finished recording. And I'm now going to try to get this done because I had to let Tippy out of the bathroom because she'd been in there for so long. So hopefully she'll leave us alone. And I just let Muffin out to go potty. And my car looks like it is encased in just a tomb of ice. Oh my goodness. I'll put a little clip in here. I took a little video because it's just so miserable outside today. It's amazing. Oh my goodness. This is what it's doing today. Look at my car. It's like encapsulated in ice. And there's our poor falling down firewood pile over there. What's the matter, Muffles? I know, nobody wants to be out here, huh? Come on. I'm looking at the trees. Like the trees are just like the pine trees. The needles are all encased in ice. It's crazy. I hope we don't lose power. That's always the risk when you get all that ice on the trees and on the power lines. So anyway, all right, we're gonna keep going. I know I was pretty much done with telling you about new things. I think I was talking about books. I was going to just mention the fact that I have a bunch of new books that I've received recently that I've ordered. I received them because I paid for them. But I'm going to hold off talking about those just because I haven't had a chance to really look at any of them real in depth. They're all crafting books of one sort or another. So as I have a chance to look at those, then I'll talk to you about them. And then I think that kind of got me into 10% because I was going to mention a bunch of other stuff, and I don't even remember what it was now. And so we're going to just keep going with my notes because I should not start ad-libbing at this point in the day. 10%, basically this week has been a fairly relaxing week. Like I said, anything after the last couple of weeks is going to be relaxing. It's been really nice. I've been getting work done, but just not having to rush, like that manic rushing, which is always so, so nice. I spent a lot of time this week trying to organize our back bedroom, which is not a bedroom at the moment because it does not have a bed in it, but it will be soon. We decided we were going to get a bed. We were going to put a spare bed in there, but then we realized that since that's the room I work in a lot, like that's where I store all my yarn and I do all my packing for shipping and everything, I really need to be able to move around in there. And that room's sort of small, so once you put a decent sized bed in there, you've lost a ton of room. Plus all my yarn is stored in there. So anyway, yeah, what we ended up doing is we ordered a sleeper sofa. So that's exciting. We're picking that up Saturday morning, and I have cleaned that room up enough that we have space to put it. So that'll be exciting. Our guests that come will have somewhere to sleep other than in our bed, which puts us usually on the floor. So that's something. In the midst of me doing that, though, the other day, I guess today's Thursday, so it must have been Tuesday, I had that room looking really nice and organized, and Tippy suddenly came in with a chipmunk. Like, seriously, like of all of the rooms for her to let a chipmunk loose in, that's probably the worst one. And it just scampered off, and of course it scampered behind that big red entertainment center cabinet thing that I put in there, and it immediately got up in our heating ducts, like, which thankfully they don't get hot enough to really hurt the animals, but I gotta think it gets a little uncomfortable in there after a while. Anyway, I cannot get this chipmunk out for anything, so I set the have-a-heart trap up in there overnight, excuse me, and it still hadn't come out by Wednesday morning. So yesterday I was sitting here at the table doing something, and all of a sudden I heard very loud scampering. And it wasn't even a cat. It was the chipmunk. He apparently came out and he just was like, he was loud. He's not that big, but he was a loud scamper. So he got under the kitchen cabinets, which is another favorite place they love to go. That and the heating ducts, the two places we can't get to them. And so again, I set the have a heart trap up because I had to leave yesterday. I had some errands to run. And I told my husband, okay, the chipmunk's out of the back room. He's out here, so you may have a chipmunk in the cage when you get home. Well, he was not in the cage when he got home, but apparently he came out of hiding shortly thereafter. So my husband was able to trap him. So yay, the chipmunk was caught. But the weather, again, it was cold, and he didn't want to just put him outside in the cold and the dark because he didn't think he'd be able to find his little burrow wherever he has his food or whatever. So I came home to a chipmunk in a large Tupperware container that we were just going to feed, apparently. So when we went to go to bed last night, he didn't want to leave the Tupperware container out here where the cats could get at it. So he put it, again, in that back bedroom, but he had it covered with something and weighted down. Well, darned if that chipmunk did not push his way out of the little place that he had left for the air, like for an airspace. So the chipmunk was on the loose again. And so shortly after he left for work this morning, I hear this ruckus, and Babette's chasing the chipmunk down the hall and down the steps, and they stopped on the steps. So Babette was at the bottom of the steps, and then there was the chipmunk, and I grabbed my container and I got on the steps and I captured the chipmunk. It was actually fairly easy compared to how these things go sometimes. So we now have the chipmunk captured again, and I have put the small container in one of my big plastic containers, like my yarn bin kind of containers that is obviously not being used for yarn. So he's double contained and he can't get out because there's no way he could crawl up that plastic wall. I have a little video of him too. I'll try to remember to put in here. Here's our little fella. He's Sparky. Hello. He's like not even, he is alive. He's so cute. We have him in a double containment unit now because my husband actually captured him last night, and he was in this, and we had the lid on it with something on top of it and giving him a little bit of air, and he managed to push his way out of it. So I ended up recapturing him this morning when Babette chased him down the hallway. So yeah, so now he's also in this bigger bin, and I'm like, I have the lid on it. And yes, it is on our kitchen counter, but there's nowhere else to put it that the cats won't get it. So anyway, we're just weighting this down with cat food. And he can't get out. I don't think he could crawl up the sides of the plastic container. So anyway, yeah. Life with kitties. It's so much fun. Other than that, this coming week is Thanksgiving here in the United States. It's going to be weird for us because nobody's home. Like, none of my kids will be here. My mom isn't going to be here. So it's just Bill and I this year for Thanksgiving. And he was like, well, we can just go out somewhere. And I'm like, but I like having leftovers. You know, it just never feels like Thanksgiving if I don't cook. So I did buy a small turkey, and I'm just going to make the turkey and stuffing and a couple of just easy sides that we like. They wouldn't be things that I would make if I was making it for everybody else, but they're things we like, so I think it'll be good. And pie. We'll have pie, and we'll just have a nice, quiet Thanksgiving, just the two of us, and probably put our Christmas tree up on Friday. I'll try to record, though, again, either probably that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. No, because that'll be even less than a week again. Probably over the weekend. Friday or Saturday, I'll probably try to record. Okay, Tippy is, I'm sorry, she's shaking this box that I have my phone sitting on, but I don't know what else to do because I cannot put her back in the bathroom again. Anyway, we're going to hop into shop news because I do have some important things to tell you about. First of all, the Merry Month of Mini collections, if you pre-ordered one of those, they've all been shipped out, so yay! I've been seeing a lot of posts about people having received them, and I know some people are hanging on to them to use them through the month of December, as is sort of the traditional setup for them. Some people have already started to open them, so however you're using them, great. I hope you really enjoy them. Again, I enjoyed putting them together. They were a lot of work, but they're also a lot of fun, and I do have I have the leftovers, you know, I have the fiber leftovers this year. I don't really have any of the yarn. No, you cannot get up here. One cat up here is enough. Yeah, so I will at least have something to spin. I don't know what I'll do for yarn. I had the idea that I might just pull out a bunch of minis that like I have, not the ones I dyed for the collections, and just put a whole bunch of them in a bin and have my husband randomly put them in envelopes for me, or baggies or something, you know, just so that I have something to open. I don't know. I might not do that. It might be weird, but whatever. Oh my gosh. I am not meant to get this podcast finished today. Tippy just knocked this entire thing over and I had to like grab stuff. Okay, let's try again. I have a new club coming out. Sign-ups are going to start on Monday, which will be November 19th at 9 a.m. in the morning. I have all of the information about the club already up on my website, fibernymphdyworks.com. I'm going to also post it in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry as well. But all of the sign up form this time will be based on my website, so that's where you'll go for that. It will not be a Google form, it'll be a form on my website. Anyway, the club, let's talk about the theme. My teacup is a hint. It is going to be called the Tea for Two Self-Striping Yarn Club. So last time we had the happy hour yarn club, which was lovely and celebrated some adult beverages. This time we're going to go a little bit more mellow and we are going to celebrate all of the, well, not all of them, but at least three wonderful and delightfully relaxing teas. I think we can all use some relaxation, can't we? So that is the theme for this club. Now, let me tell you about how this is going to work, and I have to look at my show notes over here so that I don't forget anything. There will be 3 shipments. Pretty much all my clubs are like that, and they will happen every other month. The club's going to ship out at the end of December, February, and April. You will have, let's see, the club will include, let me tell you what you're going to get. You will get a full skein of self-striping yarn. I will have 4 different base options for you. Bounce, Bedazzled, which are both fingering, Traveler, which is my sport weight, or Cozy, which is my worsted weight. So those are your 4 base options for your club. So you're going to get a full skein of self-striping yarn that has been inspired by one of your dyer's favorite teas. And along with that, you're also going to get a 20-gram mini skein that will be a tonal that will coordinate with your self-striping. So if you want to use it for toes and heels or some sort of trim on whatever you're making, you'll have that as well. So full skein plus a mini. In addition to the yarn, you will also receive 2 servings of the inspiration tea for that yarn. So whatever tea was the inspiration for that yarn, you will either receive 2 tea bags or 2 servings worth of loose tea, but that is what you will get, tea for 2. You can share it with somebody, or maybe you can just drink it all yourself, depending on how you want to do it. It's up to you. So that is what this club is going to entail. Yarn, big yarn, little yarn, and tea. Again, as I do with all of my shipment or all of my clubs, you can choose to pay for the entire club up front and get a 10% discount, or you can choose to pay per shipment. And the prices do vary a little bit depending on which base you choose. All of that information is included in the page on the website. So those prices do not include the shipping costs. Those I do also have listed separately. And obviously, if you're paying for the full 3 months up front, you'll also be charged all 3 months worth of shipping costs up front as well. There is no discount on the shipping costs. Sign-ups are going to start on Monday, as I said, the 19th at 9 a.m. Eastern. There are only 20 spots available for this club. I will leave the sign-ups open either until all 20 spots are filled or until the following Monday at 9 a.m. So I believe that's the 26th. Yeah, so that's the club. I'm really excited about it. I've thought about doing this one for quite a while, and I love tea, and there's so many different ones that, you know, would make wonderful colorways, I think, based on what's in these tees and everything. So I'm excited to do this. I hope you will be too. And I figure with the first shipment going out right at the end of December, right after the busy Christmas holiday, it'll be a nice treat for you to get something just for you, I think, personally. All right. What else? I do have a shop update coming up this Friday, which is tomorrow, the 16th, at 6 p.m. Eastern, so my normal shop update time. I have a lot of yarn and fiber that I will be adding to the shop. I will not have it all up in the shop for this particular update. I have another update which will be happening on Small Business Saturday, which is the Saturday after U.S. Thanksgiving, which that's the 24th, I believe. That one will be a 9 a.m. Eastern update. That one is specifically going to be my Christmas colorways and possibly some more winter colorways. I do have some winter colorways that I'm going to be putting up in this week's update, along with a bunch of other things as well. So I can't possibly show you everything that's going in the shop. And like I said, I'm sort of prioritizing what I'm putting in the shop for this time, just because I don't have time to put it all up between now and tomorrow night. So I'm prioritizing like the wintry things, the newer colorways, things like that. And then I will add the other stuff that I have left as I can put it up throughout the week probably, or, you know, I'll include it in next week's update. But anyway, suffice it to say, there's a lot. But I did bring a representative sample of things to show you, because again, I can't show you everything. The first thing I wanted to let you know, these have already been in the shop. I took them out of the shop because I wanted to take them to the show, but I have them. They will be going back in the shop, and this is the bag and yarn sets. The bags that I did with, the sets that I did with Bags by Awesome Granny, Darlene. They were originally in the shop as dyed to order. They're all dyed up now, so they are ready to ship. So there's this, you put the fun in fungi bag and coordinating yarn. What big hooters you have. Bag and yarn. This one was very popular at the show. And lastly, Folk Cottage bag and yarn. And they're all self-striping colorways. I believe I have all of them on both Bounce and Bedazzled yet, but there may only be like one Bounce left of a couple of them. I don't remember. But right now, I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of each of all three of those. So those will be back in the shop. At the show, I did price them as at a slightly, very slightly lower price than what I had them on the website originally. I do that occasionally, like as show specials. I'm going to put them back in the shop at the show special price, so you will be getting just a few extra dollars off of those at this point. Okay, let's move on to some self-striping. Again, I'm trying to focus on the winter colorways as well as like some colorways that have not been in this shop before. So I have these on an abundance of bases mostly. Some may only be on one, but I'm pretty sure most of them I have on more than one. Frosted Whimsy. This was a colorway, a winter colorway from last year that was really popular. So it's a fun colorway. I know I have this on multiple bases. Including Megga, my bulky weight base, it sold really well this time at the show because I guess everybody's in the mood to knit bulky weight things right now. So a lot of these colorways I will have on bulky as well. Mountain House Winter, this one's on Bedazzled, but I do have that on other colorways as well. Don't Tell Him It's a Rainbow. Now, obviously, that's not a winter colorway, but it's been a very, very good selling colorway at my shows and just in general. So I do have a bunch of that that'll be going in the shop. Winter's Wizards. That was one of my new holiday/winter colorways a couple of years ago. That always still sells well. It's nice and bright. It's inspired by the Wizards of Winter song from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Specifically their light show that they do in their live show during that song. And then this one is one of the colorways that was part of the Happy Hour Self-Striping Yarn Club. It's past its 6-month exclusivity period, so I dyed some of it up, and that is It's Wine O'Clock Somewhere. So this is based on, or inspired by different wines. It's a 4-stripe colorway, and yeah, I know I have it on Bounce. I don't remember if I did this on other bases or not, but it's the first time that it will have been in the shop after having been in the club, so you can get that. I've added to my the semi-solids. I mean, there's always semi-solids in the shop, but I dyed up even more to take to the show. In addition to my regular bases that you always see it on, I did a lot of them on Mountain Tweed. So this is Mountain Tweed fingering. This is eggplant. And then I also did a lot of these on the bulky weight, my Megga base. So I just pulled out a couple to show you on these bases. So that's eggplant and lime green on both of those bases. I love the lime green on this tweed. I think it looks so cool. And here it is, wisp on both bases. So I've also modified the price for my Megga base. I brought it down a couple of dollars actually. It's only 105 yards, and even though price-wise, I mean, weight-wise, it's the same amount of fiber as the other skeins. I felt like I needed to bring it down in price just a little bit to accommodate, or to account for the fact that it's not a ton of yardage. I am trying to find a bulky weight base that I can do that will be more yardage per skein. So far, I haven't found one that I like, so I'm still doing this one, but I have priced it down just a little bit. Okay, then I dyed up a whole bunch more Floof, my kid mohair and silk base. In addition to the tonal colors that I've already had, I did do up some more of those, but I also dyed up some multicolor ones, some variegateds, which I've had requests for. So I've got some new colorways as well as some winter colorways. So this one is Frosted Whimsy, which I showed you on self-striping, but here it is on the Floof base. This is a newer winter colorway that I developed recently, and this is called Winter Shore. This is not a winter colorway, but this is Gray to Raspberry Fade, which I have done before. So that fades into all those different raspberry colors and into gray. This is a green tonal called Gilded Moss, which is also a newer colorway that I've come out with. And this one, this is my fun colorway for the winter that I was inspired to do based on the Nordic tradition of hygge, H-Y-G-G-E. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but this is a little bit of hygge. So, just love all those warm colors in there. I have a lot of those colorways on other bases as well. So here's Winter Shore on my DK weight base, Bonafide. Here's Leaf Pile, which was a really popular autumn colorway I've done. That's the variegated version. Here's a little bit of hygge on DK. Gilded Moss and Frosted Whimsy all on the DK weight base. Again, I have those also on fingering weight. I don't know if I have them, I don't think I did them on Megga. I think maybe DK is the biggest I did those on. I don't remember. And then as far as things to pair up, if you want to hold your Floof base with another base, I did a lot of these same colorways on fingering, as I said, so you could pair those up. But if you're looking for something that's a little closer in yardage, I did a whole bunch of my Sunshine base, which is the 490 yard fingering weight, light fingering weight base. I did that up on some new semi-solids. We have this one, which is Graphite. This one, which is Warm Honey. I'm really playing with this dye combination. This is a custom blended dye color, and I've done a few different things on it. in this, and they're all a little different, but I love the way that one turned out. This is iron oxide, which I've dyed a lot. I love that color. This is cocoa brown. And lastly, peacock. Any of these paired with one of the Floof skeins would be enough to do the Ryoko shawl. I'm not sure that I'm going to put the Ryoko shawl kits back in the shop. I did take those out to have them at the show. However, if you order 1 skein of Sunshine plus 1 skein of the Floof, obviously you probably wouldn't put those two together, but you know what I mean. Ooh, here, these would go together though. Ooh, look how pretty that is. Or that. Oh, that would work too. Anyway, if you order 1 skein of Sunshine and 1 skein of Floof in your order, I will gift you the Ryoko pattern. Please just leave a note when you place your order saying that you would like a copy of the Ryoko pattern. Make sure I have your Ravelry username, or I can use your email address, I guess, and I will gift it to you through Ravelry. Okay, last thing that I am absolutely sure is going to be going into the shop this week is a new item. You've already seen my Mountain Tweed fingering. I have Mountain Tweed DK now. I'm so excited about this. This is not something I had at the show. This is something I dyed this week specifically to put in the shop for you guys. And I just can't wait to put it in there, so it's going in this week. So I dyed it up on cocoa. Look at that. It's so squishy, and I love those tweedy bits. I've got it on cocoa. I've got it on Merlot on that base. Sorry. That's really kind of blowing out. It's not quite that light there. That's better. Merlot. Deep red. Here's that warm honey again. I just love this color. That's making it look a little more green than it really is. It's much more that warm. See, it's funny how different it is on the two different bases, because this base is actually a darker base. It's not like the creamy off-white base. It's got a little color to it already, so it looks a little bit different, but that's what color that is. And I've got denim and lichen, which is a nice deep green, foresty green. So those will each be in the shop. I have several skeins of each of those. So those are the things that I know I'll definitely have in the shop. If I can add more from my show inventory, I definitely will. But that's definitely what's going to be in there for this week. So again, that update will be tomorrow, the 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have those up in preview mode or not before 6 o'clock. Because of the way this new site works, it's a little odd doing it that way. I can do it, but sometimes it's I don't know. I'm still working out the best way to handle that. So if you check the site prior to 6 p.m. and you don't see any of this stuff there, please don't panic. It will be there at 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, I will be posting pictures on social media as soon as I can get them up there. So check out, Facebook and Instagram. That's the best places to see these pictures of things going in the shop. And then again, just a reminder, Small Business Saturday, which is going to be the Saturday after U.S. Thanksgiving, which is on 11/24 at 9 a.m. That will be Christmas colorways. But again, I'm hoping to record prior to that update so I can show you specifically what will be in there. Okay, I think that's everything. I have recorded this in so many little snippets that I now need to try to put together. Hopefully I can make sense out of it. Anyway, I hope you are staying warm, and if your weather's crappy like mine is today, just stay inside and knit and drink some tea. I give you permission. I think it's a great day to do that. Do some spinning, maybe some weaving. I don't know. Just sit and watch some TV if you want. Whatever. Stay warm, my friends. And I will talk to you again next week, either Wednesday or probably over the weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But Yeah, that's it for right now. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.